Hey, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo. It's RVDTV.com. We don't have Rob Van Dam here today. He's still busy with his newborn twins. Shout out to Karma and Saba and Katie as well. But we got to give a shout out to our special guest host this week. We had Bill Apter last week. We're following up with Mr. Danny Doring. Danny, thank you for joining me today, brother.
Thank you. I'm happy to take the hot tag, as RVD put it out on the internet today.
Yes,
Fired up, baby. Fired up. What's going on?
Hitting the hot tag for sure, brother. So it's I guess we'll start off with this. You're a dad of twins as well. What kind of advice would you give to Rob starting off with newborn twins?
Oh, first of all, I mean, shout out to Rob for giving me this opportunity, this platform. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, fun little bit of ECW trivia. There are 3 twin dads in ECW, and it would be me, Tommy Dreamer, and now Rob Van Dam. And I don't know, man, it really depends. I can't really my girls, one was always up and one was always down, so somebody was always awake. It took us months to get them on the same schedule. So I mean, hopefully he gets them both on the same schedule early so they can get some sleep. Otherwise, somebody's going to be up and it's going to be, it shifts. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of fun, a lot of reward, but it is, just like I said, a lot of work. But God bless them, man. Congrats to you, Rob. Now,
when you got the word that you were having twins, how were you feeling about it? Were you excited or super nervous? How did that all come for you starting off?
Well, strategically, I had my son first, so he's older, so he can handle any skirmishes I might have to deal with. So that was, yeah. I strategically did that for. No, when I first found out that we were having twins, I knew it was girls right away. I knew right away it was going to be girls. I didn't have to get a sonogram. So, and that came to fruition. I was a little bit floored. I was kind of like, oh, but I was, but they're both 2 different personalities, 2 different everything. So so they don't do anything the same. They don't, wear the same clothes. They don't have the same likes and dislikes and all that kind of stuff. So completely different people. So it's fun because it's fun to manage 2 different personalities. But man, it's a lot of work. The 3 of them. It takes up a lot of my time and a lot more of my money.
I believe that for sure. Now, were they born early? Because Rob's twins were born early too, and I didn't know that was a thing actually.
Yeah, 5 weeks. Wow. Premature. They were like just under 4 pounds when they came out, and it was a couple 4 or 5 weeks, and then they were in the NICU for a while. We didn't get them home for a while, and we did. I was afraid. Like my son was different. He was bigger. You can. When I was changing and everything, but when they were so tiny and frail, I was afraid I was going to break one. Like that's how scared I was at first. But not anymore. Now we're now my son's 15, and the girls are just turning. They'll be 12 already in June. So it happens fast, man. You blink of an eye. But that first couple months when when they're just there, and like that, it's a fun time, man. But
I bet
they do grow up fast.
I can only imagine too. Yeah, in 12 years, that flies by super duper quick, and seems to be doing that a lot in wrestling too. Like just the time frame.
Dreamer's got the other set of girl twins, and his are both in college. So I mean, it's a whole nother. So it's like I'm in the intermediate side. I'm just getting into middle school and high school, and he's already in college and beyond. So it's that's interesting.
Man, you're telling me, holy smokes. So why don't you fill everybody actually, so everybody, we're live, obviously, rvdtv.com. If you're tuning on an X on RVD's X account, or
you're gonna get the guns in a little bit there.
Yeah, get the guns in there. But be sure to enter the super chat if you want to do that. But I always keep my eyes peeled just for fan questions in general. So if you have a question for Danny or anything to that effect, feel free to drop it on in. Additionally, too, be sure to like, share, subscribe if you're on RVD's YouTube account, or if you're at rvdtv.com. That's where you get all the episodes and clips going on. So be sure to hit like, share, subscribe, and get the word out about this.
Like, subscribe, and follow.
That's it. That's the triple threat right there.
Yes, sir.
Danny, why don't you fill some folks in what you've been up to too recently? You were just in Poughkeepsie, right?
Yeah, man. I just Saturday night we did the Poughkeepsie Rumble for a group called ACW, Awesome Championship Wrestling, and I'm not saying this just because I was there, but probably the best thing going right now out here. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, from the talent to the booking to the production to the thought and love and everything that goes into what they're doing there. It's pretty special, and it's awesome to be back in. Well, it's the MJN Center now, but famously the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, where, you know, Randy Savage introduced Elizabeth, Andre got his hair cut, and all these famous things that happened there. A lot of history, a lot of ECW history in that building. I had a lot of great times there myself with the FBI. Scott Hall was there, so there's a lot of history there. So it's be fun to be back in that building and seeing it jam-packed. When I mean jam-packed, I mean completely sold-out shows. It's pretty special and pretty spectacular, and I'm very blessed and happy to be part of it and still doing it. So it's pretty crazy, but it's a lot of fun, man. And you get those butterflies going, pre-match butterflies, which is an amazing feeling, to say the least. So it's ACW, awesome championship wrestling. It's like the place to be right now. Pretty spoiled, man. It's pretty good to be in a place, catering and all that kind of stuff. So, man, it's a great show. We just had a really, really, really great show. There's a lot of guys. Nick Nemeth was there, and Santana from TNA, and David Arquette entered the Rumble. I haven't seen him in a while since the old House of Hardcore Tommy Dreamer promotion days. Who else was there? There was a lot of other. I mean, there's just so many. The Crowbar and
our boy Crowbar,
Tommy Dreamer, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you got all those guys up there, and it's really great talent. Vic and Hale do a great thing out there. It's
a monthly show.
Pardon the pun. It's awesome. No, they do every couple months. They do about 3 or 4 a year. So just enough where you want to come back, but they're not oversaturating it. But yeah, I mean, you know, but then again, you know, whenever there's a demand, it may grow. But that's for them to do. I just show up.
You just show up.
I just show up, put the boots on. It takes me a little longer, but I put them on. Well, you know, Greg Crowbar, because the people who don't know, Dom over the summer came to a Crowbar shindig. Crowbar's got like basically the Shangri-La of North Jersey.
It's awesome.
He calls it his home, but it's basically just a little oasis. So Dom was out there hanging out. I think you stayed in the West Wing, did you not?
I did, correct. Yes, the West Wing. I was down in the West Wing.
And when I was a kid, I was always like, the big invite was, if I invited everybody to come down to Wildwood, that was the invite. You were in. If you get the invite to the Crowbar shindig, you're in. And not many people will get 2 invites. Some people don't. Some people don't. Shout out, cousin Chuck. But yeah, no, some people don't make it. But when you're in there, you're in. So that's always a great time. So it was that's where I met Dom in person, I believe. Yeah. And
yep.
You were there for a couple of days, right?
Yeah, I stayed there for a couple of days. I went with Crowbar to the GCW show where he took on Effie, and then I crashed there while I did some media gigs for WWE WrestleMania, did interviews and stuff. And then I went to the first night, but then second night I thought it would be better to hang out at Crowbar.
Yeah, we did the hot tub. We did the hot tub thing.
We did do the hot tub. Fans might not know this, but I got privy to this hanging out with you guys. Sal Igranziano is one of the funniest motherfuckers there is. He popped me big time that weekend.
I'm glad you said it, because I didn't know if we were able to curse. Not that I'm going to curse like a sailor, but
curse,
yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to be. I'm a twin dad. Sal's notoriously funny. Like, he's unapologetically, and he's probably got the biggest balls of anybody as far as like ribbers go. He was a notorious ribber. He's something else. So yeah, Sal's a good time to have. If you can get him out. Sal's a good time.
He really is.
He was not invited to stay in the West Wing, though. That's all I'm going to say.
That's true. He was. Oh my gosh, yes. There's some of the jokes he was saying. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's out there. If he feels comfortable, even if he doesn't, he's gonna say what he wants to say, which is
right.
You know, that was the case. You go there, we have a few drinks, we're watching wrestling. You know what I mean? Like it's a great atmosphere just to let loose, and you need it. It's 2025, 2026. Oh my god, forgive me. And like, what are we doing? Like, we're all getting old. We gotta have fun. Gotta have release.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
After you got the Crowbar Shangri-La, you got plenty of liquor, you got plenty of places to relax, you got a hot tub, you got a nice pool, you got palm trees. Not too many palm trees in North Jersey.
He set it up, man. He set it up real nice. I was super impressed. Plus, I think that town of Rutherford, I've never been to Rutherford before, so I like the vibe of that town overall too. So
yeah, it's got a little towny kind of like, downtown. He's got a little bit, and he knows everybody. He's like the mayor. He's walking to the bagel shop or whatever. Everybody's waves and says hello to him. I get the finger where I live, but that's all right.
That's another story. We don't. It was so funny. We went to before GCW, like Crowbar and I. He was like, "Hey, I got to go get the table that I might be using at the show." I was like, "Oh, okay." Like a table that he could crash through and stuff. And so he just goes to his chiropractic office and like has the table there. And I'm like helping him ship it in there and move it over. And like he's gimmicking it a little bit too.
He travels to shows with his own tables and his own guardrails to destroy.
Yeah.
Nobody else has that kind of dedication, man. Nobody.
That's it, man.
That's at 50, 52 now, whatever. That's a dedication. Guys don't normally travel with their own table and chairs to destroy.
He's like a physical therapist if people don't know, but did you kind of learn a little bit of how to protect yourself a little bit more when in the ring after like working with him and consulting with him a little bit, maybe potentially?
No, but I did have a back injury a couple of years ago, and he did help me with that. So like, it's good to have a guy like that in your corner. For nagging injuries, he's awesome at what he does, and outside of wrestling, what he does with the physical therapy, he's top notch. And I know a lot of the boys have gone through his office. So, but no, really helped me a lot was once I started, like, when you're young, you're superhuman, you take every bump in the world, whatever. But as I started to get older and I started to be around Stevie Richards a lot, he taught me a lot about nutrition and stretching and got me into yoga, which I should get back into. And when I was training and working out with him, like he got me to a lot of that stuff. And he's like another one who's like body is a temple. He's like, he watches everything he eats. I called him American Stevie because he was a little bit like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. He's a little out there. I think anybody knows him would and he would laugh too if he heard that. But yeah, he's just like that character, except for minus the murdering. But you ever seen Patrick Bateman or American Psycho? That is Stevie, and he's meticulous with his routines and his everything. So like, he taught me a lot about that, which helped me prolong my career a lot. But injuries are going to happen regardless, and then that's where Crowbar comes in.
Absolutely, right.
I'm pretty blessed. I got a pretty good surrounding cast.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a great crew over there. Like just meeting some of the people I've met before, but meeting some new folks too. It was like a good kind of wholesome vibe in the way that like wrestlers talk.
Trying to get Dreamer out there. We can never get him out there. We got Dave LaGreca once, but we're trying to get Dreamer out there. We think that would be a good time.
LaGreca's the man. I love LaGreca.
Especially when the marshmallows come out. Tommy would be so excited.
Get them going. Get those marshmallows cooking. So also what I wanted to ask you about too is give maybe some fans a little bit of background. What initially like hooked you as a fan, getting it like as a fan, like who really caught your fandom? And then secondly, like what was some big influences early on as you started wrestling?
It's funny because I almost have to walk through this to show my age because now people are like, what do you mean? But back then we had to watch TV on we had to watch TV when things aired on TV. There was no on demand. There was no anything like that. No recording devices, but even before VCR. So we had my great aunt. I would stay at her house while my mother worked. She worked pretty much around the clock. And she had an old black and white television. We watched Saturday morning Superstars and stuff on it. And that's when I started watching wrestling. But we always watched just to watch because she loved the wrestling. But when Randy Savage came in, it like hit every fiber or feeling I had. Like I was like, wow, like that guy is like, it was aura. Like as my son was saying, aura, bro, it's aura. And to see Savage was like, it made me, it hooked me in. I had to watch everything. And I always, even back then, it was way less common than it is today because heels are cool today. Heels are, you're basically, once you become a really super over heel, you're basically an over baby face at that point. Back then, heels were heel, like you hate it. And I just still love the heels. I love watching Randy Savage. I liked the Demolition Team when they were heels. So I was always in the heels, but Savage was the one. Yeah, definitely. And then all through high school, I was a big Savage fan. Was going nuts when he won the championship at Trump Plaza. It was a crazy man. So yeah, man, Randy Savage for sure.
So okay, so how did it spark to you to get into the business, and like how did you dip your toes into it?
Well, I don't know. It was hard because again, there's no internet, so it was hard to find places. You had to go and really search that. And at that time, like I just didn't think it was like I really didn't know. Do you show up at a show? Do you pick a fight with something? This is the dumb things. So, and I was playing football. And in high school, they finally had a computer at the local library, and I looked up. I found at the time the Monster Factory in New Jersey, which I think was run by Larry Sharp at the time. And then a couple years later, I started to I was going through. I was thinking my third year of semi-pro football. I was watching ECW, and they had the House of Hardcore commercial. Literally, well. Funnier story was basically, first off, they had and Dreamer always pops for this. Beulah had her own segment on ECW television, which was called Beulah's Box, and she would tell you how her box was always open. So I wrote in, see how I can, whatever, make it in or whatever. But I famously always joke, Beulah's Box is not open for everybody because it was definitely closed for me. And so I found, but then right after that, the House Hardcore commercial came on, and I called the school. And this guy named Matt answered. Matt, by the way, sounded just like this. Hold on. Yeah, House of Hardcore. What's up? And I was like, whoa, that sounds like that guy Taz on the TV show. Called himself Matt. So basically it was Taz disguising himself as a guy named Matt, but it was Taz.
No shit.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, basically you get down here, we'll give you an interview and see if you're worth it. If you're worth it, we'll let you join. If not, fuck off. So I was like, wow, okay. He was like, by the way, can I catch your name? Like, I think he was on to me. But my name's Matt. I was like, okay, bro. So I took 2 trains, one into Manhattan. I'm from New Jersey, even Manhattan down to Long Island. And I had an interview with Taz and Perry Saturn. And while in the middle of the interview, and basically what they do is they wouldn't even just take you as a student. They had to interview you. They asked you your athletic background, all this stuff. It was like an hour-long thing. And Cronus walks in. And if everybody knows anything knows about the Eliminators or ever seen Saturn and Cronus was not acting. That guy that's on TV was the same guy that walked into the school. I was having my interview, and he was just, and I was just like kind of really, it was really intimidating. First, it's intimidating because Perry doesn't say anything. He just stares at you.
Oh, man.
And then Taz is doing the interview, which is, like being interviewed by the TV Taz, because at the time Taz didn't have an off switch. And then Cronus walks in, like cuckoo and all that kind of stuff. So it was, but long story short, they decided to accept me as a student, and I started a week later.
Wow. And so who was a big part of your training process then when you started?
Well, I was in for a while there was a lot of, every class had about 20 kids, 25 kids, and every other day 4 or 5 would drop off.
Wow.
Like you would just see them go. So eventually, at one point, there was 2 classes, an afternoon class and a night class, and a lot of the guys that were out there would do the afternoon or the night class. But I was basically at Perry Saturn by myself for a while, for almost 6 months of the training, just me and him, and 3 other kids. But then they would drop off, or one would get hurt, or one would quit, or a lot of things. It was watching guys get stretched and beat up or not be able to do the cardio, or every day it was something. So at one point, my class was me, Spike Dudley, and Crash Holly. Whereas they had Spike come down from California. He had a job, but he had to be at the school. And Crash also had the same deal. Crash had a Winnebago in the parking lot of the school. So I'd crash with Crash a couple of days in the Winnebago, so I didn't have to go back and forth because I couldn't drive. I drove once, and I was driving home, and my hands were, I couldn't even steer. That's how bad it was. So I couldn't drive to the school anymore because of how bad the training, intense, I should say.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I have to take trains. I have to do the train. I take the train to Manhattan, and then get to the school. So 2 trains there, 2 trains back. And so if I could stay there a couple of days, I would. So I would stay I would crash with Crash. And sometimes we would go over to Walmart and watch football on Sunday because he didn't have a TV in the thing.
So you'd watch it at the electronic section?
Yeah. And then sometimes we mix classes. Chetty and Roadkill were in the class at the night class because they lived close to the school, and some other guys too. But then at one point, man, it was just me, because Spike was on the road. Crash was on dipping in and dipping out, and it was just me and Perry for a long time. And Bubba was always there, Taz was there, Dreamer would come in, Guido was there. So there was always guys there, you know what I mean? But it was just like one would run one class, sometimes you get them both, and when they were both there, it was, it was a contest who could make each other more miserable, and in turn they would make you more miserable.
Absolutely, right? You're a pawn in the game at that point.
Yeah. Let's see who we can get to drop first. I really think they had bets on it sometimes. There was just guys falling because you had to do you got in, you did some stretches, you did about 45 minutes of cardio to start, and then you would learn like 2 things a day. So if it was like a hammerlock, reverse hammerlock, and that was it. And then cardio. And the cardio was like, the step test on the outside with the benches. You were doing mountain climbers. You were doing Hindu squats. You're doing Hindu squats with guys your body weight. A lot of times I have to match up with Chetty. Chetty is not my body weight. And even more so now, he's definitely not my body weight.
Definitely not now.
But yeah, so all these, and you had to finish. Like we had to, I remember one time we got yelled at. I forget what we got in trouble for. We got in trouble for everything. But we had to do a cardio test where me and Chris had to hold steel chairs overhead and then do the stepper on the bench. And if the chair hit your head, you had to start over.
Oh my God!
So there was one point we're holding a steel chair, and it's just like, it was a lot of fun. And then in the summertime, Perry would close all the doors and turn the heat up to 110, and just scream. I could still hear bump and feed, bump and feed. I could still hear it in my head. I still wake up at night sometimes hear it. Bump and feed your
So was he overall a good trainer though, Perry? Did he have the
Listen, we had crash pads, we had Perry for a lot of high flying stuff, we had Mikey for a lot of high flying stuff, Taz for a lot of times with the basics and some basic suplexes. He would give us any of his, obviously, and then Bubba was there, to help. Bubba would give you a backdrop that, like, literally your feet would come near touching the ceiling. Like, he would just get you up. But the training was top notch. Don't get me wrong. Training was awesome. The only thing looking back 30 years later was, and not a lot of selling. So if you sold at the school, they considered it a weakness. So pump and feed, you couldn't so even if you were legitimately hurt, you had to. So when I had my first match with Taz, I would respawn like a video game character. He would bump me, and I would just like right into my wrestling pose. It was like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't sell, and he was starting to get hot, but I don't think he realized it wasn't me being disrespectful. It was just I had my first match. I was green as shit. I had, or as Cronus would say, greener than Kermit the Frog's balls. And he would give me the T-bone, and he'd be like, "What the fuck?" Like, so then he had to beat me up for real in that first match. Just,
So nobody decided to teach selling at all necessarily, or they just kind of frowned upon the aspect of selling?
It wasn't frowned upon. It was just more like almost every day the school was almost designed to weed out guys.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Who could take it. So we just never really, it wasn't like we had a class on selling. We went through the basics every day. Chain wrestling. First, we basically learned how to shoot for the first couple months. So they wanted guys that could legit take care of themselves. So
right,
it was like 3 months before I even got in the ring. Like we were working on amateur mats on the outside, and so it wasn't like they didn't want to teach selling. It just wasn't emphasized. So it was something that had to come much later, just with repetitions. Oh, yeah, I should really probably hold my neck on that pile driver. That'd probably be smart. But yeah, even like with the school, and then when we got on the road, it was tough because we'd set up the ring. We graduated, we went to Team Taz, and then eventually we do ring crew. But after ring crew, we're done by 1-2 o'clock, and Tracy Smothers would be in the ring by 3 to do a 2 or 3 hour course before the doors open, where he would let you guys wrestle, critique your matches, and you'd have 2 or 3 matches before the show even started. But he would also go through, and you can't. What are you going to say? It wasn't mandatory, but it's mandatory. It's Tracy Smothers.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
He's there every day at 3:00 to make sure that you're, to give you in. Tommy Rich would be out there. Dreamer would come by. Shane Douglas would come by. So you're getting all this like knowledge from all these people, and so every day was like a class. I'm like in a class, and I was still going to school during the week. So it was school on the road with ECW, and then you get Tracy Smothers and all these other guys in the ring, every day. So I mean, those first couple of years they were painful. They were, money was tight. A lot of Denny's, a lot of Waffle House. You know what I mean? But the
Philly
knowledge, or if we scrape, sometimes we find a place called the Huddle House, which was like the knockoff Waffle House.
Okay, the Huddle House
would be just like you would imagine it to be. Yeah.
Wow. So I take it then that's kind of where you learned the selling aspect, was seminars kind of through Tracy and Tommy Rich and stuff like that. Is that kind of where you developed the art?
We would do at the school. We would do it, but we also, there was a Wednesday night class that I'd always come in for, and it would be like we do Wednesday night freestyle. So you probably never heard this, but Bubba would stay late and close the school down. Taz would leave, Perry would leave, and we would just do. We would just have matches. We have like a round robin, and everybody just be in a ring, tag in, tag out, and so we did a lot there. The finish always was, there was a tin can on the outside. It was a coffee can that was taped up, and it was for, you put $1 or $2 in it every other week, so they could buy cleaning supplies for the school, because we were always disinfecting the ring and everything. But the finish was always somebody was taking the coffee can to the head. That was always the finish of the Wednesday night special, and that was per Bubba. So I don't know if Taz and Perry ever knew about the Wednesday night special. They'd probably be hot about it. But yeah, so we did a lot of selling and stuff there. We were able to really, and then, but during the school was basically just let's get these basics down over and over and over again. And then we're going to run you into the ground with cardio just to make sure that you're in shape to do this when you're called to do it.
Wow. Well, man, so I had zero clue that like any of this kind of existed for the ECW up and comers, like in the aspect of like the seminars with Tracy Smothers and the initial part going on with where you're learning with Perry Saturn. This is all fascinating and new to me. Holy smokes, this is pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, it was a cool one. I was in the school one day, and Taz was like, "Hey man, let's go for a ride," which I was like, oh, that's just weird. First, you said it like you weren't mad, because he was always mad. Let's go get a drink at 7-Eleven. Let's go to 7-Eleven. So he's like, and then he's like, and then he gave me the shirt. And he's like, "You're officially Team Taz. Congratulations." So I officially became part of Team Taz a couple months, and then I had my first Team Taz appearance was November 1996, and it was just happened to be when the lights went off, the lights came back on. It was Taz and Sabu face to face for that pot. That was my first night in the actual company, was for that. And I was scared. I was like, please don't do it. I had nothing to do but sit there and just sit in an orange jumpsuit and do nothing. But I was still scared I was going to screw something up. I was petrified.
Right.
And then the next.
No, that's kind of the mentality, right? You kind of, if you're new to this all, and this is like you're out in the spotlight and kind of aspects of it, even if you're just a part of the ring crew or whatever it may be, it's kind of the nerves are just high. They're just high in general.
Crazy. And then a couple weeks later, we're on Raw because we're doing ECW Invasion. So we had to do, Taz wrestled Mikey and Sabu jumped off the R. These are all like within. I was like, what is life right now? You know what I mean? Like what? Like I went from this to now I'm already doing this, and I showed my mother. I kayfabed my mother on the school. I showed her a video in November 96, and she was hot because she hated me playing sports. She didn't want anything happen to me. She was like, "You're gonna get killed. What are you doing? Look at the size of you. Look at it." I was small. I was 100, and I graduated school at I was a hard gainer. So by the time by my third or fourth year semi-pro ball, I was only got up to about 180 pounds. By the time I graduated wrestling school, I was about back down to 165. So it was like,
what position did you play in football?
I was QB for semi-pro, and in high school I played defensive back.
No shit, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Dude, I'll sling it, bro. Don't make me do it. Let's not get a two-end touch game going in front of the crowbar stage.
Oh boy, yeah, we don't.
I'll light it up.
Well, there'll be a hospital room down in the West Wing.
Oh yeah, I'll throw a hospital ball to my son.
Oh, jeez.
Tito.
Gotta watch out. That's the real school Hard Knocks there.
Yeah, brother.
We did get a super chat from Frankie. He asked several questions, so we'll knock these out one at a time.
Several.
Thanks for the $5, Frankie. He said, "How did you get a job with ECW with Paul?" It was training through, right? I imagine, right? You kind of just got indoctrinated to do it.
Yeah, no. Well, they say you're guaranteed a match. So I had my match. My first match was in Indiana, Pennsylvania against Taz. Yeah, so that's your first match. Your first match in wrestling. You're going to wrestle for ECW against the top guy in the company at the time. So yeah, no pressure.
Nope, no problem.
And I'm up there no selling all the shit. T-bone suplex, your best suplex. What do you got? Let's go. But then I was offered a job on the ring crew. So from there, so that's what it was me, Chris Chetty, Spike Dudley, Mikey Whipwreck, and Roadkill, that first ring crew, and that was our job. So I had a job with the company, and we wrestled when they had spots for us on the card. So we wrestled here and there, but we weren't full time yet. And so I had a job pretty early so it was second I got on Team Taz, basically I was hired. So I was already on ring crew. I was just doing Team Taz and ring crew. So I was hired probably right that night in November 96. So I did the ring, did the Team Taz thing, broke the ring down, and then that was it. So I was hired. That was my first day. So basically the acceptance of the Team Taz shirt basically meant you were hired in the company. So that's
great.
So that was a pretty cool thing. I still have
You still have it too?
I have everything I have ever gotten: wrestling shoes, wrestling boots, shirts. The only thing I've ever sold was my WWE outfit I had made for that period. That's the only thing I ever got rid of. It's a very sad time. It's a very sad time.
It's okay. That happens.
Don't worry, I'm gonna start drinking. No, but that's to answer your question. Yeah, no, I was hired. That was the first night I was hired. It was November 96 in the ECW arena. I was officially a member of the ECW ring crew.
Well, how about that? So yeah, man, that's awesome. So he jumps way ahead here and asks, "What was your final ECW show, and how did the after show go?"
Final ECW. I guess if you're talking the original ECW,
I think that's what he means. Yeah.
It was the last show ever, and I think it was Poplar Bluff, Arkansas. And me and Dreamer against the FBI. We defended the ECW Tag Team Championships. Roadkill did not make the show. And so me and Dreamer, I defended the titles the first night with Nova against Hot Commodity and defended the second night against the FBI. And we did everybody's finishing move. And we also did a dance off. We broke it all out that night. So that was, and then honestly, everybody, there was rumors that was the last show. I didn't believe it. I remember Joey Matthews and Christian York going, "Dude, what's going on?" I go, "Don't sell it." Like, Sandman's going, "We're all going for a curtain call." I was like, "Don't sell it. Just go out there, have a beer. We'll be back to work next week." No, sure. Literally no idea. No idea it was the last show, but that was, in fact, the last show.
Wow. Man, yeah, so he follows up to.
There was actually there was no after party. There was no after party. There was nowhere to party there. It was Arkansas.
Yeah, it was Arkansas. You're not. You might get a Waffle House.
Yeah, we probably. I think you know what we did. Me and CW went to eat, and then we hung out at the hotel for a while. It was a very, very, as far as ECW goes, it was a very, very non-eventful evening. I know a lot of people have stories about whatever, but that was not one of them.
Well, I guess that you already answered this question then too, because he asked, "When did you know ECW was done?"
Oh, that's done. I didn't know then. So everybody started calling me about the pay-per-view.
Okay.
After that, there was a pay-per-view booked apparently, and I was like, I have no answers for you. They go, "Oh, you're really good friends with Tommy. Don't you talk to him?" I go, "Yeah, I'm good friends with Tommy. We don't talk." To this day, me and Tommy Dreamer talk a couple of times a week. We never speak about the wrestling business. We don't gossip. We don't talk about it. That's why we were able to be friends. We have an actual friendship where we don't speak about wrestling. I never asked him for anything. Please get me a dog. None of that. So we've always had that kind of really cool relationship. But people thought I had answers to things that I didn't have answers to. And they're like, "Well, can you find out?" I'm like, I know as much as you guys. And honestly, it really wasn't until we saw Paul commentating on Raw that we kind of realized, "Oh, okay, we're done," and that was it. That's when we really, that's when it really sunk in. I mean, so as far as the original ECW goes, because we had literally no idea what was going. Nobody we had nothing. We had nothing, and I had nothing, and people were mad at me because they thought I was kayfabing them, which I was not.
No, that's interesting too, because I know too. Like if I'm working with somebody, and whether it's Rob, or another kind of talent too, it's like I don't pry or ask certain kind of questions because it's just like, we don't have that necessary relationship. We'll talk about wrestling on here and stuff like that, but we're not breaking down or trying to dig up dirt or anything to that effect either. So what's the point of that?
Tommy never burned anybody anyway. Tommy, you could probably you'd just be like, "What are we going to go eat?" He's more worried about that. He's not worried about any of that other stuff. That's Tommy. Yeah, Tommy, let's go eat.
It was funny. I can't remember who said it, but Tommy always gets ripped on with fat jokes and stuff like that online, and through interviews and stuff like that. I hear it. I was like, why is everybody so mean to Tommy about being fat? And they're like, no, Tommy's in on the joke with it.
He makes fun of himself. Like he was the other night at the ACW show. I was talking to him. He's like, what's the matter? He goes, I feel like I'm getting big. I'm like, oh, it's because you are. And, we're all old. We're all old and flabby. What are we doing here?
Right.
The dude puts on his boots more nights than most indie workers in a year, and he's like 55. Like, you know what I mean? The guy's he's literally just wrestles a full wrestling schedule in conjunction with what he does with TNA or it's TNA, right? It's on Impact, right?
Yeah.
So like with everything he does there, and he still wrestles a full-time wrestling schedule. It's pretty insane. You know what I mean? I picked him up. I've given him that guardrail, the atomic drop thing he likes taking. He gets up there, man, and he's a lot bigger than I am. I'm not as strong. I'm kind of strong. But he can still get himself up there for things. So it's not like he's going through the motions, man. He works hard. So
man. Tommy, he came to the promotion that I work for, IWC in Pittsburgh here, and he tagged up with somebody that had like a hardcore tag team match, and it was one of the best matches on the card. Like it was just fun. So
he does his thing.
He does his thing, man. Frankie's final question was, any travel lodge stories?
I've heard travel lodge stories. A little fun fact: I've never actually been to the travel lodge.
Oh, okay.
When I started in November 96, everybody moved over to a place called the Holiday Inn, which is infamous in its own right, which is also now destroyed. But that was the hotel. That was the start of the transition from the travel lodge to the Holiday Inn in Philadelphia. So I've heard a ton of travel lodge stories, but I've actually don't have any, and I've actually never I've driven by what I think they called it the cylinder of sin, I believe they called it. But no, I've never actually been there. I've just driven by it, and that was I think I caught crabs or something just driving by it. But no, it looked like a menacing place. I'm sure a lot of stuff, but I actually can't comment on it because I actually have never actually been inside of it.
Wow. Yeah, no, some of the stories that were shared on here, there's some wild ones, and the cylinder of sin sounds a very appropriate name.
Yeah, it's don't get me wrong. The Holiday had its own, but that place I've heard, it's a bunch of guys doing whatever. I can't speak to it because I had never, but I've heard some things, but I can't confirm because I wasn't there. I'll never confirm about stories that I've heard secondhand because they're always embellished too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and it's like it's the telephone game. It goes through it. It's everybody's different versions of it all.
Yeah. So. Imagine if there were cell phones back then. Oof.
Jeez, oh man.
Well, that's the thing. That was before all that. There wasn't even internet yet. Like I remember going to somebody's house. I won't say his name, and he had a ton of things on his toilet, like these books. I go, what are these? They're dirt sheets. And I screamed because I never bought into any of that stuff. Like I could walk by about 80% of those guys, 90% of those guys, and not know who they are. Still to this day. But the guys go, no, you got to read them, man. You got to get a heads up of what they're thinking and what they're talking about and how they're. I'm like, I don't care. I just don't. So he couldn't. But I took a dump in the guy's bathroom. I was reading through the dirt sheets. But to the point was they were actually sheets. They were like programs at the wrestling show
Yeah.
you would get back in the day, like newspaper. They were actual dirt sheets, not internet dirt sheets, which is kind of funny that I'm that old.
Yeah, no,
But I look good though, Dom. I look good.
yo, you do. You look great, Danny, for sure. No doubt about it, man. You could still sling the old football, the old pigskin too. So.
Oh, dude, I got a cannon on me. They call it the 12 gauge, bro.
Who was your favorite quarterback growing up?
Roger Staubach.
Oh, that's a great one. Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah,
You Cowboys fan then, I take it?
I am the Cowboys fan, not a Cowboys fan. The Cowboys fan. I suffered through the misery of the last 30 years. And I'm also the Cowboy fan that hates other Cowboy fans because they're obnoxious. I know what we are. I know how the story ends every year because I've been living it for 30 years. But I got to watch them win Super Bowls when I was in high school and talk all the shit. Yeah. And now I've listened to all the shit for 3 decades. I've listened to Cowboy hate as long as I've been in the wrestling business, and it's been 3 decades now. It is like 31 years now.
So my brother's a Cowboys fan as well, my younger brother, and he definitely he's got the rose-colored glasses on a lot of the times. I have to kind of just give him the reality check and be like, listen, dude, like Jerry's fucking shit up right now. This is not going on the right way. But
Jimmy's team, everybody knows it's Jimmy's team. Barry Switzer won with Jimmy's team.
Yes,
I could have coached that team as a 17-year-old kid and won the Super Bowl with Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Alvin Harper, and that defense.
And it would have been a Disney movie.
We need 3 yards. Just run behind Larry Allen. Emmett, whoever.
That's it.
The guy in a wheelchair to run behind Larry Allen. He'll get the 3 yards. It's fine.
It'll happen. I started off as a kid. I was the Cowboys fan of the family because I liked Emmitt Smith and I liked, I got into it. And that's how Marcus got into it. But then 98 rolled around. And my dad was a Joe Namath fan and I liked the Jets. And I got hooked. And sadly, I'm a Jets fan now.
So I'm sorry. I have to digest what you just said because it's absolutely asinine. You went from the Cowboys to the Jets.
Yes.
You're a football fan because normally people they upgrade. You know what I mean?
I know. I downgraded big time because it was 98.
The stupid kid next door has got an Eagles jersey and a Chiefs jersey. Like he doesn't, So I guess this year he'll like the Rams or something. I don't know.
Oh, but, yeah, probably.
Yeah, one of those goddamn Eagles don't win anything. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of them.
I know.
I lived in food for 5 years.
Everybody's oh, you wrestle in Philadelphia so much. You should have a lot of Eagles. No.
Not at all. It's crazy though. There's a great amount of wrestlers are Cowboys fans. Like a lot of them.
As they should be.
There you go.
We went a couple years ago for the stadium for the first time, and it was my son's birthday. Me, my son, and Dreamer go to Cowboy Stadium. Dreamer is people who don't know, Dreamer is the biggest baby face ever. He has 32 football teams are his favorite. So basically, he loves every baseball team, every football team, and we're watching it. And the Texans are about to beat the Cowboys in a game that the Cowboys shouldn't even be close to losing, but they're about to lose. And I feel like it's because me and my son are there. We're like, yeah, we're the bad omens here. And Dreamer starts to slow clap, and somehow this magical MFer, the Cowboys go 96 yards in a minute and 40 seconds and win the game. What? And he's like, "See, I'm the biggest baby face ever."
Thanks, Tommy.
98 yards. I'm sorry, I was corrected by my production team. It was 98 yards. I'm sorry.
Oh, 98. Holy folks!
Bigger Cowboy fan of me now. All of a sudden.
There you go. Right.
John Madden over here.
Yeah, John. You can't.
I almost called him Jiminy Greek, but I can't go there.
Oh, you can. I get it. I get the reference at least. How did I mean, I got to meet Roadkill while I was down with you guys over there in Jersey too. How did you guys get paired up? How did that all kind of happen for you two? And was it kind of weird considering all the
No. I mean, it was weird because I didn't like anybody at the school.
Okay.
I hated Chris Chetty. And I talked to him 3-4 times a week now, but at the time I was like, this guy, oh my God. He's full of himself. I'm an ego guy, and this guy, he dwarfed me, and I was like, dude, and then Roadkill was just a dick. Anybody till this day, people say, give a good word to this guy, he's a dick. So he was back then, he was, so I just hated him. But then they put us in a truck together and made us drive around the country. So you eventually, whatever, you bond by it's like the one person he's my asshole, so you don't mess with him. You know what I mean? And we
Right.
kind of had that. And then we were working out one day in a ring. It was in Wildwood, New Jersey, and which is my favorite place on earth. And we were at the convention center, which is a big bucket list thing for me. And there was a couple guys that were trying to, I guess they were trying out, and they were trying to take advantage. And Roadkill tagged in, and we got rough with him a little bit. And Paul had saw that and said, "Wow, those guys have chemistry. I'm going to put," and he put us on the show that night. We worked Tracy and Guido. So the first Danny Doring and Roadkill. I'm sorry, and Roadkill wasn't an Amish yet. I wasn't Danny Doring yet. It was just our first match together was at that convention center. So I was like sky high after that, and then it just stuck. And then eventually, they wanted to change my gimmick to a porn star.
Okay.
So I was going to be Dirk Doring, and the movie Kingpin was out. So I think Meanie tells a story. I think he told a story somewhere recently.
Oh,
That Al Snow and him and Al Snow were like thinking of things, and it was like, that's a great gimmick. So I was going to be Dirk Doring, the porn star, and then I was going to have an Amish partner, and we were going to be in, hijinks ensue and all that kind of stuff. But Val Venus debuted shortly after that.
You're right.
So the scuttlebutt is the idea was given to somebody else's creative, sold to somebody else, however you want to put it. But they said basically we're going to drop the Dirk. We're going to keep you Danny. And then, just come up with a bunch of over the top, sexually explicit things to call everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't even name them all. Joey Styles actually came up with a couple for us too. So he was, by the way, an amazing person. Like that guy was unbelievable to be around. So it's it was just great because it's like we were so low and down the card. He treated us like he would come over before any pay-per-view or TV. What do you want to do here? What do you want to call this? Where you want to? And dude, Joey. I just want to give props to Joey Styles. And I know nobody's seen him for a while, but
yeah,
he was awesome.
Oh my gosh. And you think about it, you go back and like as a kid, I was just like, oh, Joey Styles, whatever. But like I go back and watch matches now and he's just doing everything by himself. He's handling the whole thing and like creating, being not only the moral compass for the fan itself, but at the same time too, he's adding flavor and personality to it all too.
All by himself. And then eventually I think Rick Rude was the first one that came in and did color with him for a little while, which was pretty cool for me too, being a big mark for heels.
Yeah, right.
I couldn't get over how big Rick Rude was, by the way. I was like, I was like, okay. But that was pretty cool to have your match called by Rick Rude and Joey Styles back in the day too. And him and Joel had great chemistry, and him and Cyrus had great chemistry.
Mm-hmm. So, man, yeah. There's a lot of people that can learn from Joey Styles, no doubt about it. Me and Rob talked about before how great it would be to get him on the show at one point. But yeah, like you said, when nobody hears from him at all. And
quality human being, though. Quality human being.
That's awesome. What I hear. That's what I hear. Here, let's get another super chat here from Frankie. Thanks for $2. Who picked your moves and the adult names for them? Okay, so you just answered that.
I'm answering. I'm like old. I'm aging myself. I'm like Matt and Cleo. I'm answering questions before they come in. Calm now.
Calm now, everybody.
But yeah, that was it. So I mean, first I was doing, when I was just trying to get exposure, like get some matches in. They did I had vertigo, so I would try to go to. I was the smallest guy in the company outside. Like Spike and Mikey were all the same size, but I would go to the top and I would get scared and climb back down, and then and then I just did a bunch of rest holds, and they would chant boring because I was ECW crowd, and I would get up and do a double bicep, and I get rolled up. But eventually when we got to that area where we're going to start getting pushed a little bit. And Roadkill wore a brown outfit. Like he was just like a black shirt, black shorts, and like brown boots. It was just he was like a Louisiana creek walker or something. I forget what the gimmick was supposed to be, but then we came, we got our gimmicks, and then we just kind of started just adding flavor to it, going to the school, working at the school on tag moves and this and that. And we put a lot of work into it once it started going. But all that stuff was mostly me, came up with moves, trying to come up with stuff that nobody's seen before. You know what I mean? So we invented some stuff. We weren't trying to steal anybody's stuff, and we were trying to come up with something that was unique. And before somebody else asked, the Heart Foundation thing, completely coincidence. Like the outfit I wore was basically mostly based on, and it's not a snub on everybody gives me the Bret Hart thing because of the Heart Foundation and everything, but basically really was I got the idea from X-Pac because I was a smaller dude and they were like, Taz, like you need to cover up until you can get some size. So with that, so it just, but I also just like the color pink. So we would do a lot of stuff like that. And we did do the Heart Foundation finish, but that was just natural because he was big and I was small. And, we just working on stuff at school and see what stuck, what looked good, what felt good. And so the comparisons I get, but it was never an intentional Bret Hart, Jimmy Anvil thing. It really wasn't.
That's so funny because I never even thought that. Even when I was a kid, I didn't think about that because I was like, oh, Bret Hart wears purple or black and pink. And it's like Danny, he's known for purple and pink. So I even made that.
The back hair, the glasses.
Yeah. I guess so. I guess that kind of makes a little bit more.
And the first promo I did in the arena, I bit one of his lines, but Paul was actually the one who gave me the promo.
Oh,
so, yeah. So it was like, I'm the coolest there is, the coolest or what I do the, so
yeah.
And then Balls hits me with a chair. But,
so that's going right though, I'm sure. Balls get hits with the chair.
So yeah, but then once we started advancing the character, we started coming up with the ZCW sexually explicit stuff, and then I got an Amish partner who's supposed to be look at me like I'm nuts because But then again, he's killing chickens. So what are we doing?
What's going on here? Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. He choked the chickens.
Hey, how about that, right?
In the ring and out of it.
That's it, right? Was he living the gimmick, Roadkill?
Listen, I'm not going to tell you because I mean, the assumption was he was a chronic masturbator, but I wasn't privy to that. He did take long showers though.
Okay, all right. Well, so how about shower time? What do you think overall right now, the current state of wrestling and how it stands for you? You get to tune in. I'm sure we watch, as we said, watch SummerSlam and stuff together. And but what do you think of the current state of wrestling overall? What's the good and bad of it? Would you say?
I just think it's different. I can't really say anything's good or bad. It's basically just a different sport, a different business than it was. I mean, what do they do now? Do they do house shows? Is that still, you know what I mean? Or is it they just fly and they do their TV, they go home, or like I don't see live events anywhere.
Yeah, because so they did a little holiday tour, like in between Christmas and New Year's here. But like overall, the live events have been very much depleted, at least on the WWE side. And I know AEW doesn't do like live events either, like outside of their television stuff, really. So yeah, a lot of that is limited now. It's not so much people being on the road and doing non-televised events unless you're doing indie shows and stuff like that, which AEW counts allowed to do, but WWE doesn't do that, obviously.
Yeah. Like I said, and like I said, it's good and bad. I can't say one's good or bad, but I can theorize that it's bad in the sense that you're missing reps. Mm-hmm. So I know everybody likes to say the word botch in 2020s and so or whatever it is. So like they botched this, they botched that, and everybody's breaking down this botch. And I think there's more to that because there's less reps. So like and when you had house shows, live events if you're watching from Connecticut. You got to work on things. You got to do the match that you're going to have on TV 3 times before you did it on TV. Now, I don't know that. I can't say that they're not doing that at a training center or something, but I'm just saying I'm theorizing. And even ECW, like the beauty of ECW was Paul would edit it. So we could go as long as we wanted. Unless it was pay-per-view, we didn't have time cues. So we could do whatever we wanted in this town and that town, and he would shave. If we did 16, he wanted 8, he'd make it 8. So we had that benefit of doing all those, getting those reps, and that and in-ring chemistry with your opponent is a real thing. I don't care what anybody, it's a real thing. Some people you could just have a good match with, and some people you just don't. I have people that I genuinely love in this business, and I couldn't have a good match with them to save my ass. There's people that I had a lot of disdain for, and we would kill it all the time.
How about that?
I mean, yeah, it's so in-ring chemistry is a real thing, man. It really is. So I think like maybe that's a lot of that going on because they don't get those reps and they don't get to do those, and you're not working. How many people get 2 segments anymore on television?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how
Not a
many
lot.
2-second matches you get? I mean, you know, so I think that could have something to do with the increased number of botches or whatever you want to call them. But you know, it's again, as Trace Smothers would say, we're not dancing here, we're wrestling. So
Right.
shit's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like
What do you think about the injury rate too going on? Is that, would you attribute maybe some of that to the less amount of reps, or where, like, I mean, obviously the move sets have changed so differently, and people do a lot more crazier and wild stuff from an athletic standpoint. But do you think where do you think the injuries come into play?
Well, the athletes are off the hook, you know, and you're doing all these things, and Crowbar would be great to break this down. He'll tell you like a lot of stuff that you're putting pressure on this joint or that, you know, whatever. And Stevie does that too a lot. He'll say, you know, you're doing, but at the same time, man, like I can understand it because I was a young guy trying to get on the show. So I was a young guy doing dark matches. So we would do everything we had in our arsenal in 4.5 minutes because we wanted them to see it. So a lot of times guys are doing, like, people will tell them slow down. Me and Simon Diamond and Dawn Marie went to the same gym in New Jersey, and Pedro Morales was at that gym also. He'd always tell, slow down. And just honestly, like, and I get it now as an older guy, but at the time when you're given that opportunity, you're really letting everything hang out. So I mean, things are going to happen. Botches are going to happen. People get sweaty. Things are going to slip. Some people get oil on the rope. You slip, whatever it is. So those things are going to happen. But the injuries probably because of the advanced athleticism everybody's trying to do. You know, and a lot of these dives are just, I mean, are scary. Not just the dives are doing, but the people catching it, because you can see a lot of people getting neck injuries from catching people these days. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think it's a little combination of that. Yeah, I think there's a lot more of that because of the athleticism. But again, I can't, you know, when you know, if they want you to go balls to the wall for, you know, 4.5, 5 minutes, and you have the ability to do it, you know, and plus again, a lot of these guys are young kids, and you feel untouchable and superhuman at that age.
Right. That's a huge thing about it too. I think a lot of these, and like, there's so many talented names from like a Will Ospreay, or you think of Kyle Fletcher and how athletic those guys are. But like, they have to have that mindset where like, oh, you know, no, this is just what I do and I want to do it. And they don't really think about the repercussions potentially after the fact. And now
think of like a Michael Vick or a Lamar Jackson. They're in the pocket. When they get rushed out, you're not catching them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not catching them. They're just better athletes than you. But then once an ACL goes, and now we have an Achilles, or now we have a hamstring, now we're a pocket passer. Now we have to learn to read. We don't have athleticism anymore. We have to be a thinking man. We have to let the game slow down. We have to take what they give us. We have to make things happen that we couldn't do before. We have to become different people. It's just a natural progression of things.
Yeah.
You don't learn that lesson until you learn that lesson.
Yes. What an awesome analogy too, because that is perfect. It is, because you think about it, like somebody like a Michael Vick or a Cam Newton, if they once they got hurt, they had to adjust their game, and sometimes the longevity of their careers get shortened because of that. And like, so you think of somebody like an RG3, obviously too, is another example. And but then you look at somebody like a Phillip Rivers, who was never known to run. He comes back and he's like still comparable enough to sling it a little bit and get the job done. So it's and you almost think of somebody like a Jim Duggan, who like is more of the pocket passer, does the highlight moves and stuff like that, and he was able to prolong his career forever.
Well, some guys are like like field goal holders. You know what I mean? Like their moveset was so basic, they never really got a chance to get hurt. You know what I mean? So
right.
You know, like, but like, yeah, but that's the point. It's like, so eventually you have to adjust with age and injury, and no matter how many times you can take care of yourself. But let's see, Phillip Rivers does bring a tear to an old man's. Oh, you know, as coaching Little League football, and his kids are now watching him play, you know, compete. You know what I mean? And they were close to get into a playoff. So, and the dude won't curse. Like he will.
No,
not, you so watch him mic'd up. It's great. I don't know how you could have that. How do you have that high emotion playing a game like that you have to be? You have to be jazzed out of your mind in every play, and this dude will not drop. He won't even drop a damn.
No.
God dang it, sheesh! Like
gummit.
Amazing to me.
It is. That's another talent he has. Not just being a team leader.
He's another talent too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it does. No doubt about that for sure.
He ain't cursing on that field either. I'll bet.
He didn't need to take any Blue Chew reads.
Break down that one. Imagine how how that bedroom talk must go.
Oh man, yeah, he's a poet in many ways.
Yeah, Let's get this
Um,
missionary going, sweetie.
right, that's right. Let's see what else I had for you too here. Oh yeah. What do you think overall on like how Triple H has handled the business in the role that he's at as a chief creative officer, and from a creative standpoint, what WWE's been doing?
I just think that it's going to be the good and the bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I watch enough, and I'm a big I don't watch as much. And again, it's gonna sound like a homey thing because I'm friends with Dreamer and I'm a big Dave LaGreca fan, but I listen to more Busted Open Radio than I watch wrestling.
Yeah.
So I get most of my ins and out of the business from listening to that radio show.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, like you hear people all the time, like if they're quick to, it's almost like anything else. Like you're a quarterback and you're throwing 100 touchdown passes, you're the best. And then you throw one interception and lose a game, and you're the worst quarterback in history. It's the same thing with any booker. So I think Triple H probably gets a lot of that too. Like he probably was getting a lot of love at first, and everybody was happy to see Vince get out of there, and everybody hated him. And Triple H, and then one like, a few things go stagnant or whatever, and then it's like, oh, we gotta get that guy. I hear all that stuff, but I mean, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it doesn't reach his radar. I'm sure he's you're gonna hit some things, you're gonna miss some things. It's just wrestling. There's so many pieces of talent there, and there's no way you can hit on everything that you put into creative. Plus, a lot of creative people have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, no doubt about it too. That's the other aspect too. Is like you need somebody to reel it in and kind of. Triple H overall provides a pretty good balance because he was trained by somebody like Killer Kowalski, and so he's got that old school kind of mindset, but he has a fascination with like the Harley Race and all those kind of guys down in the South and stuff like that at the same time. But then he's got that sports entertainment aspect to it too. So I think he's one of the perfect people to have up in that role. And that if he was gone, fans would definitely know a huge difference in how wrestling is handled today and stuff. So, and not in a good way, I don't think.
I think it's more. Isn't it more about merchandising anyway and licensing at this point? Is where the money's making. So I mean, you still want to have you don't want to lose customers, but at the same time, like some things that just I'll even watch casually, like oof. But at the same time, there's stuff that interests me. Like I'll see, I'll look and I'll see somebody, and I'll go that guy, or that chick's got it, or this dude's doing his thing. But and then I'm wrong because they're not pushed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But I see what I think is potential in people, and then apparently I'm the only one. But
who has stood out to you, like as of recent?
The last couple of years, oh my god. Who I really liked? One of the street
Montez Ford.
Montez Ford, I think, is super exceptional. I think. Ludwig is it
Ludwig Kaiser?
Yeah, I think two of the best guys I've seen in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
and I don't think I see them on TV. So what do I know? But like just guys I see, like they could do that. They could do something with this guy. They could do something with that guy. And I think Montez Ford is like just destined to have a huge singles run at some point. And for whatever reason, they're just and there's no offense to his tag team partner. I just think that. At some point, that kind of thing runs its course, and guys got to go the way they got to go. But I think he can, skyrocket.
Absolutely. No, he's somebody that I've always thought too, like that has that singles top star potential because he's good on the mic. He's so athletic in the ring and stuff like that. He's got a great look, so he's got all the tools for it too. I think I've heard stuff where he doesn't want to necessarily split up as a tag team because he is loyal to Angelo Dawkins, but at the same time too, you're like, man, I would love to see him go into the singles.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta leave something to come back to it.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, and I know it's not really it's really not like there's a couple other guys too. Like I'll just see like okay, the thing that and I see it more in AEW than I see in WWE is the thing that drives me nuts. Like as a outsider looking in or insider looking in is the start and stop pushes.
Yes,
and not because of injury, just because you'll see a guy or a girl go 3 weeks where they're just killing it and then they're just gone for like a month. And it's like that you had something and you're about to light the burner and then you just turned it off. Like I don't understand it. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe there's some backstage stuff I don't know about, but I see it so much. I see it a lot on AEW than I see it on WWE, but I see a lot of start and stop, stalling pushes and stuff. all the time.
Absolutely. That 100%. That's my big thing with them too, is like, because I was I mean, as a lot of people were, like AEW coming into it all, so much excitement surrounded around it. And then you think about the possibilities of different wrestlers that could come in to that company, and they're like, oh, you could do this with somebody like that. Or imagine if Cesaro came in, or Samoa Joe. And sure enough, a lot of these talents did come in there, and then you would see them for a good amount of time, but then their push would either they'd be off TV, or they'd be limited back. Well, there would be no follow up, and that is the most aggravating aspect, I think, of AEW that
and I get it. You have so many guys. You have so many people under contract. You have so many. There's only so much you can do. So many titles you can create. So many angles and so much TV time. But I mean, it does happen more than I would like. And I'm not somebody that can consume every show that they put out on every platform. I was just basically trying to get through the WWE Network, and now it's gone.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. I know. Hopefully they bring it back with YouTube, with the Vault.
I hope so.
Yeah,
maybe get out that dub DCW music. It's terrible.
I know that's a tough thing. I'm sure so many people have like some of just the old school like recordings of it all and stuff like that, and that's the way to watch the ECW, no doubt.
Watch the original Star Wars before they put all the new CGI stuff in it.
That's it. That's exactly it too.
But the New Jack music grows on you. It does.
Right? So much of it does too. Yeah,
it does.
Well, here's a question. Another one from Frankie. This is an interesting one. When and why did the ECW checks start bouncing?
Well, first of all, Frankie's dropped. Your checks are going to start bouncing. You keep doing these super chats.
I know, right? He's invested.
Where are you working these days? I want that job.
All right.
Why? I mean, okay. I'll just say this about that. Like, a lot of people will assume that was like ECW. Like, we just worked for free for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever. The bounce check thing was not like it happened, but it wasn't like this overall thing that was like just went on, like dragged on for like a year. It was a short period. It was like a couple of months. It was like a month or two. And some guys got some guys got double. So it was like, people act like we were just like traveling the country on our own dime, and we weren't getting paid at all. Like, it wasn't like, and that was always the joke. Like, how'd you guys work for free all the time? Well, like, it wasn't really that long. It was a period of like, and who knows? Like, the well ran dry. We were probably I guess they were saying borrowing from Peter to pay Paul or whatever, and whatever, man. So like, some guys got paid some weeks, some guys didn't, and but like, I had a conversation with a very respected guy once. He goes, "What were you guys thinking?" And I said, "Well, what are we supposed to do? Like, we're on the third biggest brand. Some would argue even number 2 at the time over WC, whatever, however you want to look at it. If you want to be DCW homer, you'll say number 2. What are we supposed to do? Go work at the VFW hall? You know what I mean? We're on TV. Like, you don't balk at that opportunity and just, so, I mean, it wasn't like, again, like, was there some tough times? Sure. But was I ever my lights never turned off in my house. You know what I mean? I never turned my water off. It wasn't like, it was like I was, but I was also a little bit smarter with my money than some other guys, but it wasn't like it happened, but it wasn't like this overall, like, huge thing. It got a little rough. It got a little hairy, and there was some discussions and things that were said, and, whatever, and phone call. But it wasn't as, it's a little bit like, you hear something in homeroom and it's a lot bigger in eighth period than it was. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, there were some rough times in ECW. Yeah, there were some lean times, but it wasn't that extreme. Sorry, I had to do it.
So who taught you the financial smarts? Did you kind of already have that in your repertoire kind of thing, or did somebody in the business kind of be like, "Hey"?
No, I was a moron. Okay. I literally didn't come from money. We didn't have money growing up. My one regret was my mother passed before I actually signed my actual ECW contract. Really? But I would have loved to have done something. But Tracy Smothers was always, be smart, guys. Go. He goes, own property. He goes, don't go out and buy. He goes, well, if I hear one of you guys went out and bought a freaking car this week, I'm going to kill you. Chris Chetty rolls up in a brand new Eclipse.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so like, like, I listen, I I had at the time I had like I said, my mother passed, and I had taken guardianship over my younger brother. So I was basically like a dad / brother / so I had responsibilities too. So I couldn't. But I mean, I was at the first couple of months when I was getting money, like I was on a ring crew making $150 a week and never coming home. So like when I started to make some decent money, I was buying better clothes. I was buying some cologne. I was smelling nice. I was getting my highlights put in. Yeah. I got my highlights put in. I was getting like 2 or 3 outfits done a month. You know what I mean? I had gear for days. So I spent money, and I did like to go out. I did like to enjoy. I did like a bottle or two of vodka. I mean, I'm sorry, a glass or two, bottle or two,
just a glass.
Probably more like a bottle. But yeah, so I did have fun. But I said I put away what I put away, and I was all right. But again, there was a couple times where it was a little rough with the checks. But again, not as like this major big thing. Like we worked for like 3 years for no money or something like. It wasn't like that.
Not the urban legend it became.
No.
Yeah. Maddie's got a good question here. Maddie's one of our regulars here on RVD TV. He says, "What was the wildest ECW crowd that you've seen?"
See, Matt's going to get me in trouble because I'm going to piss somebody off if I say,
Right.
I got to say, obviously the arena, because it was hot and it was crowded and everybody's on top of each other. And Sandman coming back to ECW is probably the biggest ECW pop of all time. And people in Queens be pissed to hear that because the Madhouse Extreme had its own special thing and they had some great pops there too. But there's some other towns, man, like Buffalo was a super wild town. Chicago, off the charts. And the one time we went to Mississauga, Canada, that crowd was sold out. It was a huge, like they were biting on everything. We got to work with the FBI. Little inside. We were actually supposed to win the championships that night, and they switched it while we were in Gorilla. So we literally were going to. It was one of the best matches we ever had with the FBI, and we had to switch to finish like on the fly. Wow. And we were and the heat. But there was so many screw ups in that match. And you can't tell. We covered it, so we had such great chemistry with those guys. And the crowd was so hot. It was one of my favorite matches of all time. But yeah, man, those towns were all super hot. And but I mean, gun to my head, it's hard not to say Philly.
I know, right? It's really hard not to say. But man, that's so cool though. It's like you think about all these other towns that you guys hit and traveled to, and it's like that ECW fan base was so underground, but it was just like that groundswell of organic kind of excitement for it all too. At the same time, it's neat. It's neat to hear about. Okay, the other thing I wanted to be sure to ask, I think it was another chat. I think. Let me see here. Pull that up. Triple E. Yeah, you mentioned Sandman. You got any good Sandman stories? Triple E.
Yeah. Probably can't tell a lot of them.
Sure.
Just like Balls Mahoney stories, or like. But yeah, everybody's got a Sandman story. Jesus, I think, that's put me on the spot because I have to filter my brain.
You got to filter on the fly filter.
Yeah, no, I remember when the night he came back from the first weekend we were with him, and he came back from WCW, the WCW stint, and he goes, I want to go out with Doring and Chetty, and we went out to. It was a Buckhead in Atlanta.
Okay.
And it was we closed down like 3 or 4 bars and maybe 2 after hours places. And listen, I'm not gonna say this with no ego, and probably nobody's gonna believe this. And he couldn't hang, man.
Whoa.
He couldn't hang, man. Like he might have been the most over guy in ECW, but he did the job that night. Yeah, man. I wasn't into a lot of things, but drinking was at that time I could handle myself. But yeah, man. But but luckily, like I got really, really fortunate at that time too, because I got to travel with Raven, Sandman, Just Incredible, Mikey, and me, and Chris and Spike all in the same. We had rent a van, so I got to be in long car rides with those guys, and they're, Sandman's knowledge of the business is probably second to only like Ravens, who's right behind like a Paul or something like that. Those guys were genius. So I was in car rides with those guys, and when I wasn't in the car with them, I was in the car with Tommy. So I mean, I got to be, as much fun as we had after shows. I got to listen to a lot of really, really good psychology and ways about the business and outside the business from a lot of guys that have been there and made some decent money. So I always have a lot of I got a lot of love for Sandman, especially, man. He's always been really, really, really awesome to me. And every time I see him, it's like, and I see him every couple of years, but man, it's always awesome to see him, man. He's one of my all-time favorites. He's just a really, really genuinely really good dude.
He really is too. We've had him on here a couple of times, and I got to meet him a few times too. And he's just got that natural personality too.
And he always puts me over on his podcast. So I listen, man. I listen. Keep you bump my ratings up to a 4 though, man. This 3.7s are killing me.
Oh man, what's the rating out of 4 out of 5?
Yeah, whatever. No, whatever is. They always watch pay-per-views rate him. Tyler always bumps me up. Tyler always gives me some high scores. But yeah, man. Sandman's always but they always put us over, man. So he's to this day, man. Sandman's one.
Shout out to those guys. They have a great show.
Well, you lost that night in Buckhead, brother. You did.
Hey, you lost that one time. We got you there. Cool. Well, Danny, is there anything you want to plug too? This has been awesome, and we might have some other plans.
I'm trying to think. I got Outlaw Wrestling this weekend in Medford, New Jersey. Yeah. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know where Medford, New Jersey is, but I'm going to figure it out. But I think it's down by Atlantic City or somewhere. Like I said, I just did awesome championship wrestling, and a couple months ago I did Battleground in Philadelphia. So I think those are all going to start running again in 2026. But I'm pretty particular at this point because I'm old. So I don't want to wrestle every weekend, and I want to wrestle and I'm kind of spoiled because the shows I do are all awesome crowds, man. They really are. So I'm working for great people, and I'm having fun, and I'm not getting hurt. So I'm pretty particular about that. So, but like right now, the only one I have right now on the docket is that awesome wrestling this weekend in Medford, and after that, we're gonna see, back-to-back shows to start off January at age 52 next month is not really how I want to start things, but
sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll tell you, I my son's doing travel football, my daughter's in gymnastics. I got things to pay for, man, and that's even before we get the driver's licenses and colleges. I got a long way to go. I got a long way to go. That's why I got to shave these grays out of my hair, man. These kids are killing me.
What grays, Danny?
They're there.
All right. Well,
they're
cool,
on the
guys.
Floor at the time, but yeah, they're there.
They're still, that's all right. That's all right. So guys, too, if you like what you're seeing, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. RVDTV.com. Go to it. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. Is that what they still call it? Or Apple Podcasts or whatever. So check that out. You tell
me, brother. It's your show.
That's it. So be sure to tune into that. Shout out to RVD and Katie. I can't wait to see them and the babies still coming through. And go to RVD420.com if you want exclusive glass, RVD glassware that you can check out and smoke with too. So, get ready for our new sponsor upcoming too, Happy Hippo. They're Kratom. So if you want to learn more about that, Rob will fill you in on all the details about that. There's also a link down below in the description that you can go and check out. You can use promo code RVD2026. And you get about 15% off of what's already there. So check it out if you're interested in the Kratom aspect of things. Rob will give you more details about all that too once he returns. But Danny, thanks for doing this, brother. This has been fun.
Oh no, this is awesome. Yeah. I could be on here all night, man. I'm good. I got nowhere to be till 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So
hell yeah,
man. We'll chat it up. We'll
definitely chat it up again. We'll
do a live one from the Crowbar Shangri-La.
Ooh, that'd be great. I want to make the trip over to Jersey again here at some point.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time here on One of a Kind with RVD. But this time it was Danny Doring. So, all right.